Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 9th chapter, and text number 49. Pitra chanu mato raja Vasudevānumoditaha Chakara rajyam dharmena Pitru paitamaham vibhuhu. Pitra chanu mato raja Vasudevānumoditaha Chakara rajyam dharmena Pitru paitamaham vibhuhu. Word to word meaning. Pitra, by his uncle Dhritarashtra, Cha, and Anumataha, with his approval, Raja, King Yudhishthira, Vasudeva, Anumoditaha, confirmed by Lord Sri Krishna, Chakara, executed, Rajyam, the kingdom, Dharmena, in compliance with the codes of royal principles. Pitra, father, Paitamaham, forefather, Vibhuhu, as great as. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After this, the great religious king, Maharaj Yudhishthira, executed the royal power in the kingdom strictly according to the codes of the royal principles approved by his uncle and confirmed by Lord Krishna. Purport. Maharaj Yudhishthira was not a mere tax collector. He was always conscious of his duty as a king, which is no less than that of a father or a spiritual master. The king is to see to the welfare of the citizens from all angles of social, political, economic, and spiritual upliftment. The king must know that the human life is meant for liberating the encaged soul from the bondage of material conditions. And therefore, his duty is to see that the citizens are properly looked after to attain this highest stage of perfection. Maharaj Yudhishthira followed these principles strictly, as will be seen from the next chapter. Not only did he follow the principles, but he also got approval from his old uncle, who was experienced in political affairs, and that was also confirmed by Lord Krishna, the speaker of the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Maharaj Yudhishthira is an ideal monarch, and monarchy under a trained king like Maharaj Yudhishthira is by far the most superior form of the government, superior to modern republics or governments of the people by the people. The mass of the people, especially in this age of Kali, are all born Shudras, basically low born, ill trained, unfortunate, and badly associated. They themselves do not know the highest perfectional aim of life. Therefore, votes cast by them actually have no value, and thus persons elected by such irresponsible votes cannot be responsible representatives like Maharaj Yudhishthira. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Passing Away of Bhishma in the Presence of Lord Krishna. Om Agnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutaye Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarne Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langaite Grim Yatkrupa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So, welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class today. Today is disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada, and one way it is a very auspicious day because he, in that month of Kartik, Prabhupada disappeared from this world, from this planet, and he is in the another service definitely of Krishna. And I don't have qualification, and seeking the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, spiritual master, and Srila Prabhupada, so that I can say something. This is the last verse of the passing away of Bhishma Dev. I was asked to speak on this. It's supposed to be, as we all know, so today was supposed to be the class by Ruchira Mataji, and have some opportunity for me to speak today. So I don't have much realizations, but at least I'll see the purport and follow what Prabhupada says. In between lines of what Srila Prabhupada said, and in line with what Prabhupada has preached. There are few words which I was thinking what to speak about, then referred some of the Prabhupada's lectures. One was, one important thing Prabhupada said is, in his purport, Maharaj Yudhishthira was not a mere tax collector. When someone becomes a king, normally what happens is some people are afraid. That means, oh, I need to give my whatever the taxes, I need to pay them. A king has come. Oh, there is a king now, so that means they'll collect taxes and I have to pay taxes. All these days I was not paying taxes, but the king has come. So some people think that, king is just a tax collector because he sends his soldiers to collect the taxes. That was earlier, but today, the modern politicians They're not monarchy, but they're democrats. In the Kali Yuga, especially now, the democracy has come, which we know good also. Monarchy was one thing which was really good that time at that point of time, because Prabhupada said a king is a representative of God. Spiritual master is a representative of God. Father is also a representative of God as a family. So it's very powerful words what Prabhupada uses. So that means they have responsibility. If king has taken that position in that sitting on the throne, it's not just the seat, not just the throne. He has so much responsibility, not for himself, but for his citizens. And now King Yudhishthir, we are talking about the powerful king here. A kingdom, royal, executed the royal power in the kingdom. Kingdom especially was not a small kingdom. It was entire India, entire world. After the battle of Kurukshetra, which was Dharma Yuddha, many millions people died. And now the Kauravas and Pandavas, only 5 people, 5 Pandavas were left. And on the Kaurava side, many people died. On Pandava side also, many people died. And Dhritarashtra was the king all these days, during the battle of Kurukshetra. And after battle of Kurukshetra, after passing away of Bhishma Dev, Yudhishthira got how so many, he learned so many lessons. He understood the instructions of what Bhishma Dev said. Now he has to follow that. So now there are 2 things. One is the body, how they got approved. Dhritarashtra was a king. When Yudhishthira Maharaj was supposed to take the throne, he got he got a permission from Dhritarashtra, and he also got an approval from Lord Krishna. Dhritarashtra agreed that based on the bodily strength, the Kauravas lost the war, and now this is the time that Yudhishthira Maharaj can take this seat. So what a culture. The Yuddha, war itself was Dharma Yuddha. And after that, he comes and seeks permission from Dhritarashtra saying, can I take this throne? And in fact, Dhritarashtra himself said, yes, you are eligible. And based on the bodily strength, we lost it. And you can take up this service. So this is the responsibility, not an ordinary responsibility. It's a great responsibility to be a king sitting on that throne. And he also got an approval that Krishna himself said, yes, you are eligible now and you should be take this position. Now, I was thinking, spiritual master, there are 3 things which Prabhupada said, that one is king, one is spiritual master, and the father. So, as a representative of God, it says the father is also representative of God. So, these are the statements of the Shastras because they will guide. So, what kind of these responsibility is the king will guide, the spiritual master will guide us. And as a father, we guide our family, our children. And what is that guidance we are supposed to give? What is that guidance the spiritual master is giving? And what is the guidance what king is giving to his citizens? Is Prabhupada clearly says that guidance is how one can become Krishna consciousness by education and by culture. So this is guidance. If this is not given, then it is called misguidance. So the two things, right? Education and by culture. So the guidance means the whole system of human civilization is guide the people to become Krishna, God conscious. So this is the Vedic civilization. Prabhupada condemns that not to make anybody dog consciousness, cat consciousness, or animal consciousness. Sorry, conscious. Animal conscious, cat conscious, or dog conscious. So scripture says, Dharmena hina. What is that? If there is no dharma, pashubi samana. We are less than animals. So dharmena, this word, dharmena chakara rajyam. So dharmena, chakara rajyam dharmena. Three words, if you look at it. Chakara rajyam dharmena. Executed. Chakara means executed. Rajyam, the kingdom. Dharmena, in compliance with the codes of royal principles. So the very important, based on the principles Yudhishthira Maharaj executed. So the thing is, religious principles means to guide everyone to become God consciousness. So what is Dharma? Dharmena means by religious principles. And Prabhupada very clearly says in the Srimad Bhagavatam text, 6th canto, 3rd chapter and 19th verse. Dharmam tu shakshad bhagavat pranitam na vai vidur rishayo napi devaha na siddha mukhya asura manushya kutonu vidyadara charanadaya. Real religious principles are enacted by Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what important is. Where is this Dharma coming from? Dharma is coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. Nobody else is giving this. So we need to, the spiritual master, the king, the father, being a representative of God, is the duty on how to guide people to develop that consciousness. This is called Dharmena. So this is the king's duty to observe his Dharma. Give me 1 second. So the Kshatriya's duty is to give protection to the citizens, security of life and property, and guide them gradually to develop Krishna consciousness. This is the Kshatriya's duty. Brahmana's duty is to guide the Kshatriyas whether he is actually executing his duty according to the Shastra. That is the Brahmana's duty. And Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. So this is the Varnashrama Dharma. And Vaishya's duty is to see economic development of the state. And Shudra's duty is, he has no intelligence, therefore their duty is to serve the 3 higher classes. And in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvaranyam Maya Sristam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. So Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita 4.13, he clearly says that according to the quality of work, Brahmana's quality and Brahmana's work, Kshatriya's quality and Kshatriya's work, Vaishya's quality and Vaishya's work is important. So he started saying, the Prabhupada says that one is the education and the other one is, that starts with what? Education is important. So the verse says education. That's the principle. Without education, there is no practice. So Prabhupada even says when a person takes up a medical exam, he is qualified. So he is educated and he is qualified. But if he doesn't practice, that means he is not a medical practitioner. Even the lawyer, when somebody gets is an advocate, if he gets the degree, that doesn't, he is qualified, he has education, but he has to practice. That means he has to work. If you don't work as a lawyer, if you don't work as a practitioner, that is a medical, as a doctor, that means you are not a doctor. Similarly, when a king, if he is a king, he has to take care of all this education and culture of the citizens to become Krishna consciousness, God consciousness. And he is there to look after all the citizens, whether they are following the Varnashrama Dharma. Why? Krishna, it is given by Krishna himself. So if you follow, everything will be in place and everybody will be happy. I remember that Prithu Maharaj, how he ruled the world. Everyone in the Prithu Maharaj's kingdom, when during his regime, everyone was very, very happy. Because Prithu Maharaj was such an able, of course, he is an empowered incarnation of Krishna himself, but he showed how to rule, what to do. And every citizen was happy. And the end of that chapter, I don't remember which chapter, but Prabhupada explains that it's almost, Prithu Maharaj, the kingdom is almost like the Ramarajya. It's not say Ramarajya, but the way during the Ram, how he ruled the country, similarly, Prithu Maharaj had the similar and ruling, and all the citizens were happy. So I would say Ramarajya. That means a king should be righteous, follows the principles, and take care of the citizens very nicely. So if you don't, then there is no point of becoming a king. That is a responsibility given to a king to take care of the citizens, because he is representative of the Lord. And now I just want to glorify Srila Prabhupada on what he has done for all of us on his disappearance day. On this, based on the verse, purport of second paragraph, it says, in the age of Kali, everybody is a Sudra, low-born, ill-trained, unfortunate, and badly associated. And we know what we were before coming to Krishna conscious. And of course, even we are still practicing. It is not that we are perfect yet, still practicing. But if we imagine what we were before and what are we now, at least there is something changes happening in our heart, some changes to become a human being, at least follow as a human being. Many times we talk to the people and they said, first of all, have that human being nature. Otherwise you'll be, even though we are in, as a human being, are we acting like a human being? We were not, and still we are not. So at least follow that. Prabhupada, based on this, Prabhupada comes to America. He starts the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. and he elevated all of us. And there are 4 classes, right, of men, which is Brahmana, the first class, second class, third class, fourth class. Sudras are 4th class. And 5th class is very low, Yavanas and Melichas. Prabhupada said that they are meat eaters, especially the cow flesh eaters. And what Prabhupada did is based on what Prabhupada brought a culture from all the way from Vrindavan, from India, based on his the instruction from his spiritual master. He came, he started the organization, he spread the God consciousness. This is Prabhupada's words he has put in the purport, but he practically did what is supposed to be done. As a king, he has to take care of all the citizens. But now as a spiritual master, he took care of so many of us, right from becoming a human being. And people didn't know many things. And he himself taught everyone, right from how to behave, how to cook, how to do this, how to do that. And finally, he made from the Melicha or a Yavana background, he made us, so many people, become Brahmins. So this is Prabhupada. And why? What did he do? He actually followed the culture and he followed the knowledge of what is being given by these previous acharyas. And he also followed the footsteps, right? Followed the footsteps of previous acharyas. Krishna has given to us all the 12 Mahajans has given to us, acharyas has given to us, but that has to be distributed. Prabhupada did that, distributing the culture, education. ISKCON itself is an education. As we know, is an education for all of us. And spreading this culture of Krishna consciousness to become Krishna consciousness too. As we are, it's spreading all over the world. And he has built 108 temples. And he has done so much of, we are all indebted to Srila Prabhupada, the way he has done for us. And he has converted a Chandala to become a Brahmin. This is Srila Prabhupada. So we are all indebted to in the service of Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas and followed the footsteps. This is most important. If there is no Dharma, that means no religious culture, there's nothing we can do. And Prabhupada in his purport of Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam, he clearly says, what is the guidance we are getting is Sarva Dharman Pratyajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Ishyami Masuchaha. You abandon every religion, because it was people did not know what religion is. So follow the religious principles and surrender to Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is exactly what Yudhishthira, based on the permission from Dhritarashtra and Krishna, he is going to follow. And in future chapters, it explains very well what he did. So thank you very much. I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, comments, please go ahead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for the very nice class, and it was very, highly relevant how you connected with Srila Prabhupada's contribution. Otherwise we would have nothing to continue that the path of Dharma. Actually, Srila Prabhupada came and so widely distributed Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and you have Contextually, it is very significant that you have brought it out. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. There is a lot to speak, but time limits. But one thing, as a responsible, when I read this verse and heard the Prabhu's lecture, being one thing, it's like a kick in the back. You are a father, and you are supposed to have that responsibility for your and teach your children to become Krishna conscious. Not like any other, people. Otherwise, now in the age of Kali, a lot of things going on, and any diversion can happen anytime. And especially taking care of the children is a big responsibility. And it's Prabhupada says, we are also representative of God to teach, to guide our children. So that's really, I think that should be the one which we need to take home. Responsibility for all of us. As a father, as a spiritual master, as a king, what the responsibility has to be done. So it's great responsibility. And for us, taking this so much of guidance from Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master, etc., we need to follow and preach others so that everybody will become God conscious. That's our culture. Thank you, Mataji. Anybody else? I think 7:33. Anybody else? Comments? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhuji, I think you can stop here. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada.